What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Sensibly Cynical podcast. Today's guest is Lucie Tiger. She is a singer-songwriter out of Alabama by way of Australia. She talks about her musical journey, the long journey from Australia to Alabama, some great stories, and she talks about some recent songs. But before I get to my chat with Lucie Tiger, make sure you are subscribed to the Sensibly Cynical podcast. We are available wherever you get them: Apple, Spotify, so on and so forth. You can check us out on Instagram at Sensibly Cynical. X is at Cynical Sensibly. Check out the Facebook page. Now to my chat with Lucie Tiger. All right, everybody. Joining me now, singer-songwriter Lucie Tiger. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast.
No problem. Thank you for doing this. Um, Alabama, right?
That's it. Yep, Florence, Alabama,
I
Muscle
don't.
Shoals.
You're not too far from where I live currently, by the way.
Yeah, whereabouts are
Yeah.
you?
So I live in Pensacola.
Okay, yeah, nice.
So when I saw Florence, Alabama, I'm like, yeah, she knows exactly the Panhandle, this whole area, Mobile,
That's
Florida.
it. That's it.
You ever heard of Floribama?
I have. I would love to get down there. So we're about I think about 5 or 6 hours from the coast, and I've never actually been down to the Gulf Coast, and I would love to get down there sometime soon. I miss the beach, so that sounds pretty good to me.
Well, where are you from? Talk to me about how you started in music and your journey.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Sydney, Australia. And I grew up in Sydney and lived there my whole life until I got a visa to come to the US. And I got into music. We've always just listened to a lot of music at home, me and my parents. And I started getting into it. I started piano lessons when I was just a real little kid. And then I started learning how to play guitar because my dad could play a little bit of a guitar. So he kind of taught me the basics. And I loved it, and I started kind of writing songs. And I don't know, like school was not super fun. I wasn't super good at a lot of stuff there, and but I was really good at music. And so I thought, well, maybe I should look at doing this for a career. And
Mm.
I was really lucky my parents, supported me doing that. And well, they kind of stipulated, if you want to do that, go and get a degree in it. So, even if the whole career as a musician doesn't work out, you could get a job like teaching or something. So, I did that. I went and got a bachelor's degree of music. And the whole time I've just been, writing songs, recording them, releasing them. And I've been able to have, success that's been able to get me to the US, which is really cool.
That's a long flight.
Mm-hmm. It
You did.
is it is 14 hours, and that's just from Sydney to LA or San Francisco. And then you've got to, if you want to get over to Nashville or something, it's like another 5 hours. So it's a long way.
So I was looking at your YouTube and
Hmm.
Tequila Talking. That came out 6 months ago, and you have over 8,000 downloads already on that.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Talk to me about how that song got like popular and how that song got made.
Sure. So that was a really fun song. I remember writing that just in my bedroom in Sydney. And it was kind of funny because I had a trip to the US coming up, to do some work, and we were going to do some recording. And with the way that they do recording here in Muscle Shoals is really quite different to how they do it in Sydney. So everyone's in the one room in the studio, and the guys like learn, well, they kind of have charts, so they don't have to learn the song. And they basically just start playing it. And so you get a song in about 2 or 3 takes, and
Hmm.
it's incredible. So you can do about, I think the most we've ever done is 6 songs in one day. And so this is
Right.
with a full band. This is like drums, bass, guitar, keys, like this is everything getting done. And you might do some overdubs later, like you might do some overdub guitar, and you'll probably definitely overdub, vocals. I used to do all of my parts like later on, just because it was easier. And So we had this recording booked, and I kind of wanted to make the most of it. And so I kind of had this little idea, and I thought, well, maybe if I just like sit down and kind of work on it. And then the song just came out really quickly. So I wrote that by myself, and it just came out really quickly. And I was like, this is really fun. I think this is going to be a fun one to record. And so we got in the studio, and we had this really cool idea to do this like honky tonk piano solo, which was awesome. And there's one part of that piano solo at the very end where he does this really long run. And he'd had the idea of that run for a while. He
Hmm.
just there hadn't been a song that he could put it in. And it's Brad Coon playing keys in that song. And he is such a good keys player, but it was so technically challenging for him, and for anyone really. It's a really tricky part, that it took him about like 10 or 12 goes to just get that nailed down. And when he finally got it, he was like, yes! It was like such a fun moment. And yeah, we had a great time in the studio cutting that song. And I knew it would be like a fun song. I personally am a big fan of tequila. I love a margarita. So I knew it would be just a fun song to put out there.
So where do you perform at now, now that you're in Alabama?
So I play a lot of shows in the area. I host a quarterly songwriters night here in Florence, which is really cool. We just had our September one last week. And I also play up in Nashville a lot. I've actually got a show there on Thursday night this week. And I try and get to a lot of the songwriters nights up there. And I just try and like branch out as much as I can. So I've got a show coming up soon in Memphis, which will be really cool at
Hmm.
Hernando's Hideaway. So I'm looking forward to that. It's a venue with like a lot of history. And it's just, I still have to like, pinch myself because I'm like, I have a show coming up in Memphis. What? Like, but this like girl who grew up in Sydney, Australia, and the US was like just so far away,
Right.
but
That's
so full
crazy.
of like history and stuff. It's so cool to be able to, say that and to be doing it, and yeah, kind of going and doing the thing, I always say.
So do you still keep in touch with some of your like fellow artists in Australia? Like do you keep track
Yeah.
of how they're doing and stuff like that?
Yes. Yes, I do. It's really cool. So I've got some good friends back in Australia that I keep in touch with. And what keeps happening as well is that they keep kind of coming to Nashville as well. So I
Really?
recently organized, yes, yes, there's actually a lot of Australians in Nashville. It's kind of great. There was a lot of Australians in Nashville like when I was getting my visa, and that was kind of why I
Yeah.
was like, well, I might not go to Nashville then. I was like, let's do something different. And so that was why I went to Florence instead. And it's still great. A bunch of them came down from Nashville to Florence to do a show, a songwriters show not too long ago, and there was like five of us on the bill, which was really cool. I think all of the Alabama people were like, "Oh my God." Like you're just multiplying, and I'm like, it's okay. Those ones are going home. They're not staying. It's only me. Like you're only friendly Australian local person here. So that was kind of funny. But yeah, it's really cool. The music scene in Australia is really small, so most people pretty much kind of know each other, which is wild because it would be like saying I know Carrie Underwood, but like that's what it's like in Australia because it is really small.
That's got to be. I've been out Alabama. Obviously, I'm on the border, but like that's gotta be crazy just to be like it's like transported from Australia to Alabama. I can't even think about. That's got to be so wild. You had to be like, where am I? Where am I?
It's cool. It's really neat. I mean, American media kind of like just I don't know, kind of like overloads the world, right? So, growing up in Australia, like all the TV shows that are popular are American, all the movies that are popular are American. And so you kind of grow up like looking
Yeah.
at this world.
Yeah.
that you don't live in.
Except for like rugby. Rugby is not super popular here, you
That's
know.
true. Yes, rugby is insanely
Aussie
popular.
rules,
Yeah.
Aussie rules, you know.
That's right. Yeah. That is insanely popular in Australia. And kind of like gridiron is just it's just not catching on. They tried to make it work, but
American
it's just
football,
it's not
Lucy. It's
American football.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You gotta has
It's
anyone hold on, has anyone tried to pressure you into becoming a Crimson Tide fan?
oh my
Alabama?
gosh, all the time. Yeah, every fall they're like, who do you go for? I'm like,
Auburn, it's Auburn or
Well, I
Alabama,
have to
right?
go over there. Yeah, it's really tricky here because like obviously like neither team has like a big stronghold here, so it is just it's like a town divided. It's crazy. And everyone
Alabama
has it on
just
like
lost.
I know
Alabama
they're
just
doing really badly. But like what do they expect? They got rid of Nick Saban. Like come on. He was
Oh,
like
look at you.
he's
You know some football. Look at you.
I know some football. But yeah, so I try and stay out of that.
I
But
mean, it's either
yeah.
conform or get out. You know, you have two options.
Yes. Well, sometimes I try and be fair because, there's a university here in town, University of North Alabama, and they have their own team. So I'm like, I go for the Lions. And they're like, no, that's a cop out. Like you can't, and I'm just like, I don't know, I'm trying.
Yeah,
It's too hard. But yeah, I mean, we just in Australia, we're totally always consuming American media. So it's
yeah.
kind of wild to actually kind of get to experience it. Like, for
Mm.
example, Halloween is kind of catching on in Australia a bit. It definitely
Oh,
was by the
really?
time. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, the kids love it because they just get to like dress up. Like, kids love that. But it's so weird because it happens obviously in spring in Australia because the seasons are completely opposite. Whereas here, like the leaves are falling and like the leaves are turning and people are putting like the pumpkins out on the porches and it's like, oh my God, like this is fall. I get it now. It's
Yeah.
very, very different. A lot of our trees in Australia, even our trees, like the majority of them are like evergreen. So we
Uh-huh.
don't really have we don't really have like a fall per se because the trees just have leaves on them kind of year round. So it is very, very different, but it's kind of like just like how it is in the movies, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gotta be interesting. It's soccer here too, though.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's gotta be interesting. Anyways, so besides Tequila Talking, what other songs um do you have in the works or have you released lately? Like, is that the most recent one?
So I just put out a brand new one, only like just last week or so,
Oh.
and it's called Harvest Moon. I haven't actually, I haven't done a visualizer or a music video for that yet.
Oh,
So
so is this
that's
is
that's
this
coming. That's
a
in the works.
is this a release here on the podcast? Or is
Yeah.
it's already been released, kind of?
Yes, yes. So it's only just been released and it is super fun. It's a lot different to Tequila Talking. We did it with some slightly different like band people,
Mm.
players, and it's really fun. It's like like a murder ballad, except it's not really a ballad, it's pretty upbeat. And it's kind of about this protagonist who discovers that like her husband and her cousin are having an affair. So she kind of takes it upon herself to dispatch them, if you get my drift. But
Mm-hmm.
she is
Yeah.
the sheriff's daughter, so no one suspects her and she gets away with it. So it's pretty
Mm.
fun, and I think it's pretty catchy. And it's called Harvest Moon, so it's like it's perfect for like fall and spooky season.
Yeah, I just found it 12 days ago. I just found it. I
That's
looked it
it.
up on
That's the
your
one.
YouTube. By the way, I like these vlogs that you put up. Day one, day two. I like that. Day
Oh,
three.
thank you. Yeah, we had a lot of fun doing that. I really wanted to show people what it's like in the studio because, a lot of people will only ever see the end product and they'll never get to sort of witness what it's like in the studio.
Hmm.
So I kind of wanted to be able to share that.
And then I'm also seeing here Devil's Telephone. Talk about
Yes,
that
yes,
one.
we
That
put that
that
one out.
picture, that picture seems interesting. I like the picture
Yeah,
there.
so thank you. That was a cool one. So, that one was inspired by I read this quote somewhere or I heard it. I forget where I saw it, but it was that gossip is the devil's telephone. And I thought, oh, that's pretty kind of telling. And I moved from Sydney, which is like a 5 million person city,
Right. Yeah, of
to
course.
Florence, which is like a 20,000 person town.
Yeah.
And it's like a massive, massive difference, as you would expect.
I'm from a small
And
town as well, so I understand
yes.
that.
Oh, it is just it's crazy. And in the big city, like we just don't really care like what other people are doing. Like we'll talk about other people for sure, but like it'll just be like, "Oh, did you hear about like, this person they got married? Oh, cool, good for them. Like, where's the honeymoon? Like, oh, nice." Like it's just talking like facts,
Hmm.
just catching up on people. But in the small town, it's like I don't know. It's like they just some people, not everyone, of course, only and really only a minority. And this is just what I've noticed since living here, is
Hmm.
that it's almost like instead of switching on the television, it's almost like their entertainment is talking about other people and not just like talking about the other people, but then they'll start to I don't know, like someone will say to me like, "Oh, did you hear about this person?" I'm like, "Oh, no, I didn't." And like, I don't really care. But they're like, "Oh, well, like, they did this to this person." And I'm like, "Oh, well, that doesn't sound like them." And they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, well, like this person told me that they did it." And I'm like, "Okay, so like that's hearsay." So you don't know if that's real. And they're like, "Oh, they definitely did it because they once did this other thing like 2 years." And I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, like this cannot be a real conversation that I'm in right now." I'm just like, this is silly. Like if you
Yeah.
want drama, like go and watch like Real Housewives of Orange County. I don't know what to tell you. Like 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 just kind of like stop with but the gossip is just
It
insane.
sounds like a soap opera.
Yes, literally, it is. And but it's like but it's with real people, and then all of a sudden, like marriages are getting broken up because of like
Wow.
rumors and stuff. And I'm like, guys, this is not healthy. But then, it's small town stuff that they've, been doing since
Yeah.
like the very beginning of small towns.
Yeah, that
So
reminds me,
yeah.
so my ex-girlfriend story, she's from a small town in Alabama,
Hmm.
and when she got married, it was on the local paper.
Oh wow.
So she
That's kind of cute.
a small town things.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, that's actually a small town in Alabama. That's funny. Alabama's full of them.
Hmm.
Every state really has them, but like Alabama is just like, tequila and country music.
Hmm.
Your
Yeah.
genre is it blues? Is it country? What's
Well,
your
that's
genre kind of choice there?
That's the funny thing. Like, I would say if you were gonna like paint really broad brushstrokes, I would say probably country. Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, I'm lucky because I'm an independent artist, so I can kind of like put out whatever I want. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
for example, like Tequila Talking is like pretty country, and then Devil's Telephone is actually quite a bit more heavy and a bit more rock. And it got picked up by a couple of like rock playlists by Apple Music. And then Harvest Moon, that's very like acoustic and it's far more sort of blues, Americana. There's like call and response. And like when I was writing it, um, like the opening
Hmm.
lines are their headstones read October 4, but my love for them died well before. The last days of summer in 24 when I caught him stepping out our front door. And I kind of like specifically said like the last days of summer in 24 as in like the year, right?
Yeah, sure.
But it could be like 2024 It could be 1924. Like I left it like vague on purpose because I thought like this is like one of those tales that is just like old as time. Um
It could be
and
20, it could be 21, 24.
exactly.
It could be, you know.
Yes, exactly. And it truly is like one of those like, those like those tales that like happen all the time. Like cheating husband is found out is like, shot down by the river. Like, I'm sure it happened in some small town in Alabama last weekend. So it's it's kind of one of those things where I kind of wanted it to be sort of vague. And when we recorded it, I made sure that all of the instrumentation was all acoustic. So even our bass player played an acoustic bass. We had like very simple drums. Instead of like an electric lead guitar, it was an acoustic guitar. It was all very like it literally could have been recorded in 1924 or 2024. So that was kind of like a cool sort of little thing that I kind of did with that one, which was neat, I thought.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So, who were some of your favorite artists growing up? Like some
So I
artists.
listen, yeah, I listen to a lot of different music. My favorite that I'd probably like that I would have said like, when I was a kid and that I'd still say now is probably the Rolling Stones. Um, so I really love them. And obviously they're not very country. Um, but it's more that like blues influence that I've always really loved. And I love blues music, and Keith Richards is just a phenomenal guitarist and songwriter. So that was something that I really got into. And then I listened to a lot of, when you're a kid, you listen to the music that your parents put on. And so
Mhm.
I was listening to a lot of like Crosby, Stills and Nash and Marshall Tucker Band and the Allman Brothers and James Taylor and Linda Ronstadt. And so a whole heap of that, that like kind of 70s,
Yeah. Funny you
pretty
mentioned funny.
mainstream stuff.
Yeah, funny you mentioned my cat just made me laugh. That's funny. But so I got a new TV and she just knocked over I just got today's been one for the books.
Oh no.
Had a bad day at work, went outside, the AC died. I dragged my new TV in, it just came in. And so I'm running to record this. And the TV is just in the middle of the living room. I'm trying to picture this for you,
Oh
Lucy.
no.
And the cat knocks over the TV because it's in a box and cats
Oh
love
no.
boxes.
Yes. Oh
And
no.
she got scared by her own.
Yep. That sounds like a pretty cat thing.
She just like jumped up. I'm like, you're the one that knocked it down.
Right?
Sorry. Anyways,
Oh no,
yeah.
you're
So
good.
what I was trying to say is my dad. It's funny. Rolling Stones. My dad watched or listened to that when I was growing up too. It was a lot of Rolling Stones. So yeah, I know what you're talking about, and I agree. Rolling Stones definitely up there for me. Yeah. I
Oh, for sure.
also I also the Beatles.
Yeah.
So those are really my two, like growing up. And then I'm a big God rest his soul, I'm a big Tom Petty fan. I listen to a
Mm.
lot of Tom Petty. I don't know if you've ever listened to any of his stuff, but
Yeah, a little bit. It's this funny thing that happens where like there'll be like some artists and like movies and TV shows that have like this massive following here. And then in Australia they just didn't like resonate so much. And so
hmm
it's so funny because I've always considered Tom Petty to be this kind of like a minor player, mainly just because, but he just didn't resonate as much in
yeah.
in Australia, and so there was
Coming over
nowhere
here, you're
near.
like, oh, he was
Yes.
kind of
Oh
big.
my God. Everyone here is like, like let's do a Tom Petty tribute show and like,
Yeah.
play this. And I'm just like,
Learning to fly
what,
and
what?
yeah.
I'm just like, I'm so confused. Like, what?
Free, hey, you know
It
what?
is funny.
You should do a Free Fallen cover. I think your voice would go good with that. Have you
Yeah, I
heard
mean,
that?
that's a good song. Yeah, I do like that song. That would be cool.
Yeah, I think now give me you don't have to give me credit for the downloads, but that'd be a good idea. Do you have a fun stories in your time so far in Alabama?
Oh, um, I mean, I think the whole place is crazy. Like people here are so funny. Like they're really sweet, but they are just insane. It is funny.
Do you have an
So I'm
example
thinking
or
I know that makes it sound really crazy, doesn't it?
yeah.
Um, I mean, one thing that I have noticed, which is kind of funny, is that they'll kind of that there is like a massive difference between, I don't know, like where I've come from and here. And I do have to I have to recognize it sometimes. And I remember one time I was doing this show and I had like printed up posters, but it was February and it was freezing and it gets way
Hmm.
colder here than it gets in Sydney. And like in Sydney, the coldest it'll get in winter is like 45. So here it's like down in like the 20s and snowing. And I'm just like, this is terrible and I don't like this. Like the winter here is really cold for me. Even though I'm only in like North Alabama, I'm not in like North Dakota or something. And so I'm just like, I'm sick. I'm not feeling it. Um, I had these posters printed up for the show and I meant to put them up like 3 weeks earlier and I didn't. And I put them up like 3 days earlier. And like, a whole bunch of people still came to the show, which was really cool. And then this sweet lady came up to me and she was like, I can tell you're from the big city. Like the marketing for this show was so good, like with the social media posts and the posters that you put up. And I was like, I did like one post on social media and I put the posters up like 3 days out. Like, and I didn't know if she was being serious because I was like, I did a really crappy job. Like for
Hmm.
me, because like if I was in like, Sydney in the big city, like I would be like promoting stuff and like, buying advertising if I could. But she was so sweet and so kind. And I was like, you know, like bless her heart, you know what I mean? Like, like that was so sweet. And it made, because I was kind of feeling a little bit like disheartened because it mainly because I was cold because I hate winter anyway. And so now I have to deal with a winter that has like snow and I'm like, this is not my speed. So I totally get that like seasonal, what do they call it? Seasonal, what, when you basically get sad when it's cold,
Oh,
seasonal
blues.
affective disorder,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like
Yeah.
I totally get that here now because in Sydney in winter,
Hmm.
often it will be about like it'll get up to like 55 or 60 during the day in the middle of winter,
Hmm.
and then it'll be sunny. So like winter is actually like really not that hard. Like it's actually very easy to deal with. But over here it's like gray, very cold,
Right.
snow, and I'm just like, I don't think I can handle this. And so that was like so sweet. And I realized that like, you know, like I still put in like a lot of effort into everything that I do here. And I think some people are like, you're probably doing too much. You can probably dial it back. But I guess that's just not me. I always try and do like 110%. So, but it was so sweet of her to say that. And I just thought that was really nice.
Yeah. That is. People are nice. You
Yeah,
know,
they are.
society's tough, but sometimes, people are nice.
Yeah, it's true. They are.
It depends on the type of people though.
Yeah, that's true.
So what's in the near future for you, Lucy? Like what's your goal here?
Well, my goal is to be able to just keep making music, keep playing shows. I've got some more music planned for release for next year. I had to take some time off this year, so I only did 3 singles this year. and I had to do some recording as well, and I have to do a bit more recording. So once that's done, I'll be able to kind of like start really putting a lot of stuff out, which is going to be really exciting. And I saw this artist the other day, and she's actually friends. She's good friends with me, and she was talking about how she had spoken to her distributor,
Mm-hmm.
Symphonic, who is actually my distributor too, and they'd said to her, "You should release every 8 weeks, like clockwork, basically, because
Dang.
that the algorithm likes that." And I was like,
Right, right, right.
that's a lot of work." Um, but she did it. She and her husband have like a duo thing, and they did it
Uh-huh.
for a year.
Wow, that's a
And she
lot.
reckoned that, I know that's like a lot to take on, but she reckoned that it worked really well. And so I thought, well, I could try that. I mean, like I'm building my
Yeah,
followers
you
and
are.
building my
You're
listeners,
you're
which is really great.
you're
But
releasing
you're
kind of
always,
quick, yeah.
yeah, I mean, you're always, as an independent artist, you're always looking for like, what that edge could be. Because like you don't have the edge that is, a major record label
Mm-hmm.
behind you. So I was like, well, maybe
Mm-hmm.
I should look at that. So I think I'm kind of still in the thinking, planning stages right now. But I think next year could work out to be a bit of a bumper year for Lucy Tiger fans. I'm thinking. I hope if it all works out. I hate to like promise something and then not deliver it, but I'd really like to deliver it, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. It does, and I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Hey, is there anything else you'd like to share about your journey and anything
I would
w-
just like to say, a huge big thank you to everyone that has, supported me on, this journey of being a musician. It's hard and it's tough and you got to hustle. But it makes it so much worth it when you have people who, come to your shows and buy your merch and ask you to be on their podcast and
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
like really support you in lots of different meaningful ways. Not just spending money, but like,
Hmm.
just
Not just
liking
spending
posts on
money,
Facebook.
doing yeah, yeah, yeah. Money
Like
helps, but yeah.
money helps, of course. But just like liking posts on social media and like watching YouTube videos that you put out. And
Yeah.
because sometimes it can be like a very isolating job, like when you work in a company, like you're working with, a bunch of other people and you can kind of like, you get like performance reports and stuff like that. But when you're kind of working as an artist, you're just creating in this space and just hoping because I guess the whole paradox of being an artist is that, you want to make your own music, but at the end of the day, if you want to do that for a living, you've got to make music that other people like. So it's kind of an interesting sort of journey to be on. And, I always remind myself that, I wouldn't be on a stage or on Spotify or on a playlist or on a podcast without like the support of all the people that like and listen to my music. So big thank you to all of them and please keep doing it.
Yeah, where can people find you on social media?
They can find me at Lucie Tiger Music, and it's Lucie spelled Lucie, Tiger spelled just like the animal. It's my middle name. It's
Hmm.
not a stage name. So it's my real name. So Lucie Tiger Music. And I'm on all of the music streaming platforms and all of that. Wherever you find music, you'll find me.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today and all the best, okay? Keep in touch.
Thank you so much. This was super fun. I really appreciate it.
All right, no problem. All right. Bye.
Bye.